And welcome to Three Questions with. Got my buddy Jim Marshall with us from Marshall's Auto Body. Hey, Jim, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Jim, I asked you to come on the show today because I have questions. So God forbid I'm in an accident. Do I have the right to pick what shop I bring my car to get fixed? Or does the insurance company have a say on that?
So the answer to the question is yes, you have all the rights in where you want to have your car fixed. Now, every body shop in Massachusetts that's licensed can negotiate with the insurance company on your behalf to fix the vehicle. So insurance companies often have a couple different lists. They have a list that's a referral list, and that allows them to send one of their partnered shops repair that they will work from the insurance company's rules and regulations. If you're not on one of those lists, the state has a list that just says you're a registered shop, and the insurance company still has to negotiate with that shop, but that shop has a little bit more of an advantage to negotiate with the insurance company on the customers we have based on data such as manufacturer specifications, how to repair the car. The cost containment piece isn't the number one focus if it's the right facility.
So Jim, my thing is, you get an accident, I'm freaked out. My car, is it gonna be the same when I get it back? So that's why it's important to use someone like you that has that ability to make sure you'll fight for me so the repair's done right, so that the car's gonna be hopefully just like it was before the crash.
Yeah, so if you have friends or family or even yourself that's been involved in an accident the last couple, 3 years prior to COVID, and then throughout the COVID process, a lot of insurance companies are using an app on the phone that can take a picture of it. You send it into the insurance company and they write an estimate and send you a check and an estimate based on that. And now it's your responsibility to go find a place to get it fixed, whether you use one of their partner shops or you go to someone you know on your own. So with that being said, the insurance companies know that only 67% of the cars are fixed. So if their claims are, we'll say, not written effectively, and the insurance company would not have to pay out any additional monies on that 33% of the cars that are not fixed. So they leave it up to the shop to negotiate and find any hidden damage to make sure that the car can be brought back to manufacturer's specifications. So that's where going to a shop that has the technological experience, the training through manufacturers or through iCar to be able to do the car the way it's supposed to be.
Well, I can see the temptation, Jim. Money's maybe a little tight. I get in an accident. There's just a dent in my bumper or something. And someone hands me a check and I'm like, thanks for the money, Jim. And I don't go get it fixed. But how about when because that would bother the heck out of me, Jim, to have that dent, I would bring it to you. But what if I have a $500 check? And you're like, Kev, it's going to take $800 to fix it. Now what happens?
The insurance company would negotiate with the shop to repair whatever the additionals are. So I like the example you gave about your bumper being hit. So most people have cars today with rubber bumpers, so they can push in and pop back out depending on the impact. So we had a customer come in with $1,000 rear bumper replacement. And they were contemplating exactly like you said, because they have a $500 deductible. So they only had a $500 check and they're going to have to pay $500 out of their pocket. So I said, listen, at least let us take it off, because if it caused additional damage behind it and you don't want to pay it because it is cosmetic, we can always put it back on. It's a minimal charge. But if there is damage behind it, and I feel most comfortable there usually is, you could be open up Pandora's box and find a lot more. Well, the claim ended up being $5,500. It damaged the rear body panel, and it also damaged the lane departure sensor, which is on the underneath the quarter panel and the bumper cover. But his car didn't react any different, so he would never have thought the magnitude of that damage would have been there. So it's very common.
I remember my dad giving me that story years ago. He was in some guy rear-ended him, young kid. My dad's like, oh, geez, I felt bad. And then the next day, something happened in his car. And he's like, I let the kid go because he's crying. My parents are going to get in trouble. You need to report every accident, even if you think there's no damage, just so when something like that happens, you have a report, Jim?
Yeah, so it's it's a great question. Again, we got smartphones. Everybody should take 1,000 pictures. Take a picture of people's registrations, their license plates, the vehicle identification number on their dashboard or through the windshield. The reason being, if you decide afterwards that you don't want to use insurance, you still got all the documentation to do it. You can even, in the state of Massachusetts, have your insurance company look at it. If you do not accept the check because the person wants to pay out of pocket, they can still do that, and then no one gets a surcharge. But you have to be engaged in that conversation with the insurance company to say, we want you to look at it to make sure that it is the numbers that the body shop's proposing.
Yep.
So we have customers do that all the time.
Your business is a lot more complicated than it seems on the surface, my friend, that's for sure. But again, it's not something, luckily, that we don't get in accidents all the time. So you just don't know what to do. And that's where it's important to have someone like you to guide them so that we don't make mistakes and go, oh, okay, just I'm going to take that check for $500 and find out, there's a lot more damage in my car that I just didn't know because it ran the same way. So, as someone who's not a mechanic, I never would have known the difference. Big risk.
It is. I mean, listen, insurance companies have a job to do. They have to invest their money to stay in business. So none of us could survive in any part of our life without insurance, whether it's homeowners or automobile insurance or health insurance. It's very important that we have insurance, but it's also equally as important that you have an advocate that's looking out for you when you get into a situation like that, whether it's your doctor or your auto body specialist.
Jim, what's the best way for people to reach out to you? How can they learn more?
It's marshallsautobody.com, or you can reach us at 978-667-5000.
Jim, I really appreciate taking a couple minutes to come on the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Be safe.
You too, bud.